The Thing from 1982 by John Carpenter is a great movie, and in fact it's one of the movies I love, but this one gave me quite a lot of enthusiasm to go and watch the other movies and the other masterpieces of the movie industry. There is going to be neither the soundtrack from the movie nor the scenes from it, there will be only fan arts, as you know about the copyright problems of YouTube. This is HorrorArt, where we look at the art of horror, and it's me, Replico, who will tell you about John Carpenter's The Thing and why you should watch it. The movie from 1982 is quite interesting, as it is even better from the point of view of horror than some of the new movies we have nowadays. One of the main reasons for that is of course special effects that are practical and not made with the help of computer graphics. And of course, one of the key elements that makes The Thing a movie that is even more interesting from the point of view of horror is of course isolation. It doesn't only present the whole problem of the movie from another point of view, but also makes it even more interesting, as you start thinking quite differently. You start thinking about the way you would solve such problem or how you would escape safely. Oh, there is a transport that the members of the crew can use. What about it? They can still escape. And right after that, the transport gets destroyed. But there are still electronics. Well, they're sabotaged when Blair gets hysterical and paranoid. All the elements that could help you are being destroyed, from transport to electronics and communication systems. The situation becomes more and more difficult to survive in, so you have to think out of the box, especially when it comes to surviving when there is an extraterrestrial form of life that wants to kill everything it can see. The elements of isolation and such form of life remind of Ridley Scott's Alien. But the strange thing is that it seems you have more opportunities in space than at the Polar Research Camp. The combination of these two factors make a really great horror effect. What do I do to kill the thing? How does it live? What if there is only one cell of it remaining? How does it infect other organisms? You start looking at the infection of members of the crew both chronologically, as you want to know who became the thing first, and from the other points of view. We know that there are still many different theories that come to reporting the thing: clothes, eyes, and not only. The Thing is a really great horror monster, as it is extraterrestrial, so we can't imply its logic to the forms of life that we know, and it is also really hard to kill, which makes us be afraid of it. This also creates the problem of people being isolated in conditions where they not only become paranoid, but also become aggressive, show their true nature and don't know what to do. There is no clear sign to see who is the thing, and of course that the thing won't tell you that it is infected. The camp itself is also a really interesting place of choice. There are lots of requirements to be maintained: heating, food, transport, all of the devices from electronical to the ones that take care of communication, of the control of water and electricity. If something goes wrong, it is a really big trouble. Surviving in such conditions is not only hard psychologically, but even physically. It becomes harder to sleep. The psychological pressure is only growing, and the thing doesn't want to stop. It only does more and more damage. If you really get into the movie and think of what you could do, it becomes scary, as each mistake can and will be fatal. The soundtrack is also great. It doesn't only underline and show us the atmosphere of the place or scene, but also fits into the mood of the whole movie. It's full of suspense and makes you feel different. You sink into the picture, and sound makes it even deeper. Special effects are practical, so they are quite realistic. Realistic even to the point where it is hard to look at them, from how gory and violent they are, in a great way. This is the way you want to show that the thing is not the kind of a life form you want to deal with, even though the perfect amount of gore and violence became one of the reasons why the critics didn't like the movie in 1982. The author of the first movie adaptation of the story Who Goes There by John Campbell, Christian Nyby, is the person who directed The Thing from Another World in 1951. He is the one who criticized John Carpenter's movie. This is what he said: "If you want blood, go to the slaughterhouse. All in all, it's terrific commercial for J&B Scotch." The only thing I can say is, do not ever listen to what the movie critics say, and have your own opinion about the movie. Both of the movies are good, even though I haven't seen the third one, which is a prequel to Carpenter's movie. What I want to say is that The Thing is not only an absolute gorgeous kind of a movie, but also does a great job at practically all of its categories. The visual is great and makes you feel like you are in a snowy wasteland. The audio element of the movie is also great. It underlines the wastelandy feeling, especially in the beginning, where the sounds seems to be quite empty and hollow. There is nothing, completely nothing except for the snow and freezing cold. The characters are interesting to observe, they behave differently, and at the same time, the plot is interesting. The movie does a great job at combining all the horror elements that it can use. Go watch it. I strongly recommend it. Well, I really hope that you liked the pilot episode of HorrorArt. The next episode is going to be about Silent Hill. This was HorrorArt. My name is Replico. Do not be afraid. Or be afraid. The choice is yours.